Hello and welcome to Meet the Teacher 2021-2022 for Cedar Ridge High School. My name is Mrs. Bombardella. Students call me Mrs. B. So I teach two subjects. I teach both advanced tag pre-calculus and I teach geometry as well. Just a little bit about myself. I studied electrical engineering at the University of Oklahoma. After I graduated, I went to work for the United States Army as a civilian doing electronics engineering. Some of the things I worked on involved artificial intelligence back in the early days, some modeling and simulation, and some other interesting work with drones back in the early days too. So that was a really interesting and great job. I feel I bring a lot of practical experience and balance to the way I teach math and what's important. It's more about critical thinking skills, a lot about critical thinking skills. While I was working for the Army, I met my husband, who is from this tiny country of Luxembourg in Europe. So we decided to get married. I moved over there, lived there for 23 years. And after 23 years, we decided that we wanted to come back to the United States and be back in my home state of Texas, where my family's from. So here's a picture of my family, including here's my twins, Mark and Sasha. This was during their graduation from high school. They went to Westwood High School here in Round Rock ISD. So when they graduated, we celebrated by taking this little trip here, going rafting. And they're now graduating from daughter at Texas A&M and son at Texas Tech. So here's our vision statement for Cedar Ridge: live with integrity, act with compassion, strive for excellence. So one thing about advanced tag pre-calculus, I'd like to show you a little bit about Schoology. So here's some main points that I want to make sure we understand: that Math Excel is our online homework. Almost all of our homework is going to be, almost all of it is going to be done on Math Excel. So it's really important that the students have gotten on there. Math Excel has tutorials, little help hints that go on there. They can look at other problems. And not only that, but they have unlimited attempts to get the best grade that they want to make on their homework. So if they want to attempt a homework 100 times to make 100, they can do that. Okay, so there's no excuse for this right here. So I'm going to show you what Schoology looks like, just so we can clear that up a little bit. So let me go over to Schoology. So it should look like this for your students. When you click on this materials tab here, you should see this welcome page right here. This is a little check-in, so students can let me know how they're doing. I'll check on that periodically. So if they have something they want to let me know, maybe privately or whatever, they can let me know here. Here's my link to my website. Not really using this much currently because everything is virtual on Schoology here. So this is if you need to see more here. But if you click on that link, you'll see my website. I have some information there. That's an old Meet the Teacher night here. But here you can go to tag advanced pre-calculus here. And when you click on that, I have these folders here that have the notes for every single unit that we will ever do in this class. They're all in here. Okay, so for example, we just did Unit 1 here. Students can access these notes. Again, all of this is in Schoology as well. It's just a different format, right? So I've got all these kind of notes and things here in this website right here. Okay, let me go back to this here. So there's a syllabus here for advanced pre-cal. You can click on that and have a look as well. So here are the topics that we will attempt to cover. We should get over most of them. Hopefully we're not going to have any interruptions in the school year. knock on wood. This last one here, we may not get to touch on, but that's okay. That's actual calculus work here. So this is pre-calculus. So hopefully we're going to get through all of this right here. Okay. Here's my schedule. So if students need to see me or want to know where I am, there's that. We'll talk about this here in a minute, but the grades are in here. Retake policy, that's the book, which you should be able to get at the textbook store right here. Homework policies, the notebook, I do have them keep a notebook here about late work and all of this stuff, which we will go over, academic dishonesty, honesty, and all of that. So we will go over that in a second. The slides here. So this is what we did the first day back to school. Here's some class info right here. There should be a technology help link here for students if they're having an issue. This is the syllabus again. Here's information how to get into Math Excel right here with the slideshow and everything to help students get into that because it's so important. This is just letting you know all the homework assignments for every unit here. So there they are. It's just a place for me to put in grades. This one is our first unit, for example. So if you open that up, there should be a calendar there. It shows you what we're doing for the unit, the timing for the unit. There should be a calendar in there. And then open that up again. And then what we're doing day by day, literally. So it tells you like we were trying to get into the textbook and to get signed up for Math Excel. We did this for a grade here, parent functions, and then a review here. What we did the second day. Here's video and notes there available to them and a discussion that we had in class. And this is what we did the third day, video notes here, and then analyzing graphs. There's like homework that goes with it with the Math Excel. Here's the quiz that we did, the first quiz. First, we review a little bit. We have a little discussion about it, and then we do the quiz right here. And then more notes. You get the idea, video and notes in there. So if somebody's absent, they should at least be able to look at the video and the notes. This is all, a lot of the videos we made last year because the students, most of them were not even in person. So that way they had something to look at. So there really is no excuse to not be up on all the material here. All the notes and videos are in there. Here's the quiz that I can understand if students are absent and they need to make up a quiz or something, they should just contact me. Of course, I'm not going to penalize them for something like that. And then the test folder. So you notice the quiz folders should be in yellow. And then here's like their homework assignments. So things that they have to do in yellow there. Okay. And this is our next unit here. So I've been working on this, so it's not quite finished, but there it is right there. So again, quizzes and tests in yellow here. Okay. So that's Schoology for you right here. Let's see. Again, so Math Excel is important. That's where they can get tutorial help if they need step-by-step assisted problems there. They can have, I think, access to the text maybe for a section at a time that they're working on there. So that is Schoology and Advanced Tag Pre-Calculus. So this came out of the syllabus if you want to look at that again, but here are a lot of the topics that we will cover. Again, I don't think we'll make it to this, but that's okay. This is what's really important here. All of that above that, this they will cover for sure in calculus if they go on to calculus. So here's my advice for the Advanced Tag Pre-Calculus students. This is a college prep class. So, in order to prepare for that, not only is the material rigorous, but they need to start learning how to work doing homework without it counting for very much of the grade. So, the homework is only 10% of the grade. The quizzes and tests together make up 90% of the grade. Why is that? Because in 1 or 2 short years, these students will be, most of them, college bound. And in college, you're going to face a situation where you have a professor that does not care whether or not you've done homework or not. They may not even count it as a grade, but you're going to have these quizzes or midterms or final exams that count for like half or more of the entire class grade. So they have to get used to doing homework for next to nothing, because if they don't do the homework, they're not going to be doing well on the other 90% of their grade. It may not count for much. It is a letter grade, 10%, but this is what's going to give them success in the class. If they are working on their homework, asking questions, um, you know, coming into flex if they're really getting stuck, or asking me for tutorial help if it's really, they're getting behind or something's going on, that's what's going to help them get the better grade in the class, is doing the grunt work here, the homework. If they're not prepared, this is the analogy I always use. It's like watching someone drive a car when you've never driven it before. It looks kind of easy when you're watching someone else do it. But when you do it yourself, all of a sudden it becomes more like complicated. All your little questions and issues pop up and arise, your insecurities. So that's why try it. Don't, even if it looks easy in class, you need to practice and try that out and be prepared. The class goes very quickly because of this. We cover lots and lots of material. So the trick is to stay on top of the material. If we are now at the end of this first unit already and we're starting this one, polynomials, next, if your student has not mastered this material and they're working on retakes of the tests or quizzes, now all of a sudden they're doing double duty, because we're covering all of this new material and they're back here trying to do this retake material as well. So the trick is, try not to get into that bad downward cycle. Then you're always like, and then they're likely not going to do well on the current unit, and then they're going to have to retake that while we're doing this unit here, and it just does it's a really bad cycle to get into. You don't want to get there. So the trick is to stay on top of the material, master it while we're working on it. Don't wait to live off of retakes. That's not a way to do this class. Okay. One other thing is quizzes and tests are usually timed. In previous life, before COVID, quizzes were 20 minutes strictly and tests were 60 minutes strictly. And many or most of them had no calculator allowed and no formulas were given unless students had an accommodation of some sort. So please let me know if your student has, I do get some paperwork on that, but just to make double sure that if your student has extra time or something, to let me know, or have your student tell me, just to make sure to give them that accommodation. But otherwise, quizzes and tests are timed. This year we've been a little more lenient because it's a lot of the things, the students are coming off a bad year last year, so we're trying to give them some grace there in that department with the time. Okay. But there's still time, that we're just giving them more time than we usually do. Okay, so here's our grades again. So 10% daily, again, that seems small there. This is 90% of quizzes and assessments, 50 for tests, 40 for quizzes. So again, this daily work, this is the practice work that in the future, when they're off in college, that might not be counting for anything even. It's all going to be this up here. But this is what determines the success of all of that up there. Okay. Students can retake failing grades for up to a 75. That's a new Cedar Ridge High School policy. Students, and I've always done this, they can work on the homework, on the daily work up until the day of the test. Okay, that's one thing. I guess I don't have that written there, but that's what I do, and that's also a policy now. Students can turn in daily work for the unit up until the day of the test, and it will not be counted late. In fact, you'll see that I have a bunch of empty grades there. That's because in Math Excel, you can see exactly, you get your feedback there, and you know exactly how well you're doing on a topic based on doing that work. So if you want feedback, it's got it there for you. But there's still a lot of students that manage to do the Math Excel the very last day, but they do get it in. So before the test is better than after the test. After the test, that's of course going to give you the most benefit. Do your daily and do it. I wouldn't wait to the last minute, but before the test for sure. This other thing, Wednesday before the end of the 9 weeks is the last day to turn in any makeup work. In other words, at the end of the marking period, Wednesday before that Friday at the end of the marking period is the cutoff date. For everyone's sake, if we have, 150, 175 students and everyone's turning in late grades left and right all over the place, that is a grading nightmare for us. To have hundreds of grades coming in from all different units all over the place. So we're trying to just make a reasonable deadline there, that last Wednesday before the end of the marking period, please. I don't expect many students will be doing that anyway in this class, but there it is. So tutorials. So again, if you're really, if you need extra help besides the flex time, because I'm there every day for 45 minutes, you can come and flex into my classroom. You can make an individual appointment with me either Monday after school or Friday before school is what I have posted here. And we can try to knock that out for you. So again, the secret is just staying on top of the material, asking questions. They should know by now this is a safer environment. They can ask whatever questions that they want to ask in my classroom. I will help them out there. So here's my preferred contact. This is my Round Rock ISD email address. It's very long, but probably if you typed in bomb in there, BOMB, it probably would pop up somehow. But this is definitely my preferred method of contact. I do not really like to be contacted with the Schoology email. Some of you did that last year. Some of the students did. And it's just too many sources of information coming at me. I just really would like to stick to one source here with the Round Rock ISD email address, please. Here's my phone number directly to my room, D213 and extension 0221 for my phone number. If you wanted to go to my website besides the Schoology link that I showed you before on the class welcome page there, if you go to Cedar Ridge High School website and the math department, look there and then go down to my name. I have a clickable link there too for my website. So please just remember this is my preferred method of contact. So if you have any questions whatsoever, here we have our mission statement. You can read at your leisure. Please email me. Do not be afraid to ask questions, clarifying before rather than making mistakes and wondering what's going on. I'd rather you email me and clear it up and we get things straightened out, especially with the students. I would really like if the students take responsibility for themselves. But of course, if parents and guardians have questions for me, please feel free to email me. Their homework, the official homework is in home access. not Schoology. So I would just like to maybe take a second there to clarify that as well. Schoology has to synchronize with home access. So if we have electronic grades, like you see those quizzes and homeworks that are entered in there, I have to synchronize that to home access. And that sometimes messes up. It's not always perfect. And sometimes the grades don't transfer, especially if there's like a missing or an excused or something that might do something weird in home access. So please have the students stay on top of their grades. I've told them this in class. Just make sure that everything is lining up correctly and synchronizing correctly. But home access is our official site. So again, I'm not synchronizing every single minute when I put in a grade into Schoology. I usually do it like once a week at the end of the week. I try to keep up with that very regularly. But if you have any questions about grades or something is not working correctly, please do not hesitate to email me, or any questions of any sort, or if you have some information about your students that I need to know, please let me know by email there with my school email address, and I'll be happy to help you out as much as I can. So thank you very much. I hope this was informative for you. I try not to talk too long, but I think I did. So sorry about that. But thank you very much and have a good day. Bye-bye.